Oké, we zijn hier met Paco Plaza. Okay, welcome. We just seen the movie. I think everybody enjoyed it. It was a bit different than the first one.
Well, good night, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, it was very different because we wanted to do something. We wanted to make a more fantastic paranormal thing. You know, we wanted to introduce the paranormal element and the demonic possession thing, which was something that it was somehow planted in the end of the prequel of the first one, and that was something we wanted to explore. The first one we wanted to be more realistic, like a daily horror using this TV language. For this second part, we wanted to take a step further into horror and into fantasy and make it more self-conscious, maybe more with a bit more of humor. Yeah.
But the thing is, also the first one, the first track, which had a lot of success. I think you won about dozens of prizes for the REC movie, and it was completely handheld. This one is different, you know. It's on a helmet, yeah. And then you go handheld. It's how did you approach that?
Well, it's like a video game. What we wanted was to be very respectful with the first one in the sense that the first one was it was like a first-person movie, and that was something that we thought really helped to increase the sensation of fear, and that was something we wanted to keep, but we didn't want to set more journalists on the building. I think that was enough. So we thought it could be a good idea sending SWATs to see what was going up, what was going on in the inside. And then, because we had seen the YouTube a lot of, the building is a real location in the middle of Barcelona. And as the first film was very popular in Spain, lots of teenagers rushed into the building and recorded themselves. And the owner was really pissed off about that. And in the YouTube you can see lots of different teenagers behaving badly inside.
So it was not a part of your movie, they were just there.
Yeah. So when we got to do this second part, we want to make this kind of homage to those nerds and those people who had been really supportive and had loved the film, and we thought it was kind of a compliment. We want to say to them, like, thank you, this is your film, it's no longer ours, and so we wanted to introduce the teenagers characters because they had been very important for us and for the success of the first film.
Okay, so in the first REC movie there was a lot of improvisation, you know. They told me, at the Q&A in Brussels in the film festival where it showed the first track, they said, you know, the actors didn't know what was going to happen. They just went in and they didn't know what was going to happen. Did you work on the same way in this movie or was it different?
It was very difficult because in the first one the actors and ourselves, we didn't think it was going to be even released, the film, you know. We were just experimenting, doing something fresh with a group of jigs with a video camera playing and doing, you know, like children playing at school. So we didn't know what was going to happen with that film. And after everything that happened, the actors of the second part were very conscious that they were doing a sequel of a film that had been popular, and so they were not so easy to cheat. You know, they were more like cautious, and yeah, that was difficult because with the first one they thought we were crazy and okay, do whatever. I do whatever you tell me, but this one they were less confident.
Zijn er misschien vragen uit het publiek? Misschien iemand die een vraag wil stellen? Niemand? No?
What was the budget of the second one? And can you explain the production? How did it went the different stage of production?
Well, the thing began with the first one. The first one, when we went to the producer, to Julio, and we said, we have an idea for a film. He said, oh, great. What kind of film? We said, really cheap. He said, sounds good. And we said, we think it has a lot of potential to be a success. And he said, even better, very cheap and successful, perfect. And after everything that happened with the first one, when we got started with the idea of doing the sequel, we knew we were going to have more money in order to have more effects or to build, because in the first one everything was in the building. Here all the penthouse is built on set, so that was because we had a bit more of money, but still it's a very low budget film for a Spanish standard. I don't know exactly the figures, but it's still low budget. But the first one was really like an amateur film. You know?
That's why you don't use any music in the movie.
Yeah, to say.
Okay.
No, it was in turn because the first one we wanted it to be like a documentary, and something that is happening on real life on TV. So we didn't use music for that. But in the second one we didn't.
There is no place even for music.
No.
I mean, that's why you don't use it, because
No.
in the movie there's no place. It's always
Yeah.
something happening. It's like music can disturb.
In this one, we are a bit more musical with sound effects. There are some moments that you can almost hear, like
Yeah,
it's but
on the background.
yeah, but it's not music. Just
On the Rec 3, you're gonna use music.
it will be a musical. The whole in 3D.
This chord's gonna sing, you know.
Yeah.
Great.
But talking about Rec 3, I read that there is going to be a Rec 3, but
It's already Shrek 3.
Shrek, yeah. With the green guy.
But you're not going to write Rec 3 or something.
You know, we just released the film like 5 weeks ago or 6 weeks. It's really early. We don't know what will happen. I'd like to say no, I won't make it. But we said that all the time when we shot the first one. So no one believes us. We don't have any credibility at all. So it's better not to say that. We don't want to do it, at least right now. Maybe in a couple of years after. Because these films are co-directed by me and Jaume Balagueró, and we like each other very much. We're very good friends. But as we want to remain friends. We have to separate a little, and we shoot our films separately, and maybe we go back together to shoot a Rec 3. Why not? But not right now.
Okay, send it off. Yeah.
How do you two work together as directors on set? How does that work?
Well, it's many times they ask that question, and it's very difficult to say. The image we have to explain what we do is like children playing at school, because we are there. It's not. We don't divide the work. We are all the time. We are together. We are challenging each other. You know, it's like, oh, why not adding ideas? And we only have one rule, which has made that possible, that we can co-direct films, which is if any of us is not comfortable with something, there's no discussion. It's out and that's it. You know, we don't try to convince the other. No, but it's good. No. If you don't like it, it's not in the film, and that's it. And that is a pact we made in the first one. It really worked well, and we are very relaxed together. We're very good friends, so it's very easy. But it's maybe for the actors it's kind of puzzling, because sometimes we talk to different actors. I'm talking to an actor, and Jaume is talking to another one. And I go to and he said, Jaume told me the opposite. And I said, oh, trust me, do what I said. And this happens all the time. It's really funny. Or Jaume says, cut, who told you to do that? He said, him. And it's like, yeah, I like it. What's the problem? You know, this happens a lot, but it's really fun.
So any funny anecdotes during the shooting? Something strange happening or?
No, you know, always, Jaume always invents that he saw a ghost shooting the first one. I don't believe it. He always tells it. And I remember the day he saw it, he says he saw it, no? We were, you know, because we shot at nighttime, so it was like 5 in the morning, 5:30, and after the shooting we were like having a beer or something. And then he went and he rushed back into the office and he said, "There's someone in the building. I've seen a shadow." I think he told us just to scare us, but maybe he did, but I'm not sure. I didn't.
But it worked.
But there is one funny thing that is that you know that the end of the first one and the beginning of this one is a girl being pulled by a demon to the darkness. And recently I went to the building for an interview for a TV channel, and the journalist said, "Oh, it's very funny. Do you have the idea of that watching that figure?" And we saw it in the facade of the building. There is exactly a girl being pulled by the feet by a demon, and we hadn't seen it. And we think it wasn't there. But we had never seen it, and it's really creepy. And it's like, hey, we laugh, but afterwards we said, that wasn't funny.
Maybe a fan of the movie.
We had help, I don't know.
So what about your future projects? I read you are going to make a vampire film.
Well, I love to do it. It's a project I have, but now I think, because I went yesterday to the Holy Blood Chapel here, and it's really something interesting. And I thought, what if a vampire came here to Bruges to get Christ's blood? I don't know, maybe that's something that is really interesting.
They come every day, they're called tourists. I have a question. I really like how your film doesn't insult the intelligence of your viewers. You let everyone discover your characters, and in this film there's that flashback element, and we're, oh, that's the guy that, yeah, and then, but one thing I really liked about the film was this dialogue with the priest and these people. You know, okay, that's great, but I really liked when the priest could talk and talk to these people. How did you, especially with that young teenage boy, it was really a pretty freaky scene, how did you do that sound afterwards, or did you shoot it as something, it's like different layers of sound. How did you manage to get that great effect at the end?
Yeah, well, yeah. Of course, it's manipulated in the post-production, the voice of the guy. But there is something really weird, which is that he was drinking fake blood all the time, right. Because we wanted him to, every word he says, to be blood drooling, you know.
That works.
That's really cool. But that made him talk with something real, because he had, it was like wet, but not wet with water, but with something thick. And it was like, he really talked in a creepy way the whole time. Afterwards, we increased that feeling by manipulating, but it was something, his performance was very good, even in live. It was amazing, because he drank so much blood. It was great. It was great for us.
Maybe he could be your vampire.
Well,
Yes,
he will be a grown up.
Nice
Yeah,
guy. I like
he's a very nice guy.
Okay,
You
anyway.
played perfect. Oscar goes to the teenage boy.
Nog een vraag?
One of the key elements in your movie is the continuous suspense and tension. How did you keep the adrenaline? Do you have certain rules for that?
Well, we always think, I think we think of ourselves more as an audience than as filmmakers. While we are writing the script or shooting the film or editing it, even in the sound mix, all the time we have in mind, if I was in a theater watching the film, what would I expect? What can I do better in order to surprise me? You know, we're always trying to be in the place where the audience will be, and try to
That's the right.
play with them and trying to, okay, if you think that, I would think that I'll try to do it the other way. You know, we are always conscious that there will be someone watching the film in a theater somewhere, and that's the only thing that gives meaning to filmmaking, which is telling stories and trying to express something that is important for you, trying to explain it in a way that is appealing to an audience and trying to seduce them and try to share with them something that you take out from your heart. And that's it. I don't know if I have answered the question.
Zijn er nog vragen? Iemand?
No. We have an editor. This is a simple film to edit because we shot like
How many
10-15 minutes all the time.
What kind of cameras were you using? What, was it just all digital video 35? What, I see different grains everywhere.
Yeah, we used Panasonic P2 for the teenagers.
Yeah.
We used the Sony 3000 for the SWATs
Yeah.
and the final part. Domestic handycam for the night vision because we couldn't find a night vision camera professional, so it's someone's cousin, you know, the one they give you for Christmas.
Yeah.
And
There you go. Make a movie.
yeah, it's really, it was really stupid watching but it works. It's
works,
really And for the helmet cameras, we used real this tiny helmet. No, it's not there. We adapt them. It's like really tiny cameras, very beautiful. But we tried a lot. We tried with cell phones, and cell phones are great for 35 millimeters. But because we wanted in a moment that the teenagers wear a cell phone, but we changed it for the P2, but not for the quality, but for the kind of movement you make, which with a cell phone is very easy to be too nervous, you know, and with the camera you have more stability. But in terms of quality, it could have been shot with a cell phone.
I noticed that the last couple of years there are a lot of movies who are films with live motion, ordinary handheld cameras. Do you think it's the new trend that's going to happen, or where does it come from? Why does everybody use that now?
Well, I think it's the old trend. I think I think we're all a bit, you know, like we couldn't be like 2 more years watching this because it's crazy. I think it happens when there are different successful films made in a certain way. You have to be ready for having more in the next year, you know, because every producer wants to make a film which is the same as the one was successful last year. So, but I think this is going to stop. But what is real is that there is kind of democracy in digital, which is great. And that's something we wanted. That was, for us, it was very important to explain when we screen rec that it was made with a camera very similar to the ones everyone has at home, and it was edited in a MacBook Pro, very similar to, you know, what we wanted to say is that anyone, almost anyone can make a film. You have the tools, you only need a story to tell. No, that's it. Yeah, I would agree. That is the most difficult thing to get.
But the dialogue was good. Increased it a little.
Thank you.
That was really good stuff.
Is there going to be a remake of this movie also? And are you happy with the remake?
I don't think they are remaking this one because I think the first the remake they made of the first one didn't explore the paranormal thing. So. And it's the basis for this one. So I don't think, but I think they are shooting a sequel for their own film. Yeah.
But were you happy with the remake? Because they didn't even mention you guys, if I'm not mistaken.
No, they in the poster it says based on our film. Yeah,
In really small letters.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not happy, but I'm not unhappy. You know, it's the way things are going today.
Because
No.
it's basically the same. They do that a lot,
Yeah.
you know. Some other Spanish movies are being remade in Hollywood, and they do just the same thing, but
Yeah.
only with American actors. What's the point of it?
Well, it's the way the industry goes there, no? Because they don't really like foreign language spoken films. For a mainstream film, they need it to be in English, and as they don't dub films, the best way to do it. And it's kind of flattering, no? That they can't do it better, they do it just the same because. So I don't mind. We're happy with that.
Okay, there's still a question there.
How is it to make a horror movie?
How is it? It's the most funny thing. It's the best thing you can do for a living, you know.
You want a drink?
It's our youngest fan of tonight.
So maybe for this is a tradition.
One second.
No, okay.
One second. Sorry.
Somebody else?
They're going to bring baby.
Papa Zombie.
Okay.
So this is a tradition. It's the final question I always ask. So imagine you have an unlimited budget. What would your dream project be? Like if you had unlimited expenses, you know, you could cast anyone you would like. What would you do? What kind of movie would it be?
A very good question, eh? I think. I don't know. I don't know.
A vampire musical.
It's impossible to answer at the
It's
moment.
very difficult.
You can think.
It's very-
Maybe somebody can come and have a picture in the meantime.
No, I think I'll do a film about, you know, Numancia. Numancia, it was a very old Spanish city surrounded by the Roman, which everyone committed suicide not to be prisoner of the Roman, and it took years for the Romans to govern Numancia, and they had to burn every village around in order for them not to have food to eat.
Starve them out,
Yeah, and the people of Numancia began to die of hunger, but they never surrendered, and they suicide themselves before. And it was I think it's a really nice story because they brought riders from Tunisia. They had to bring people with elephants. You know, the Roman, it was kind of Asterix, you know. The Roman couldn't really make them surrender. And it was a very beautiful story about being free and independent and not surrendering to a bigger enemy.
Like the 300 movie, a bit like.
Well, but less gay, more.
That's a good one. So true. That's good. Okay, I thank you very much for being here at the festival. I wish you all the best with the film and big applause.